Welcome to the Program Pod, a national award-winning program on the RCBC Podcast Network, which takes a deep dive into the programs offered at RCBC through different perspectives of students, faculty, and employers. Well, it feels good to be back here on the Program Pod. No more commencement talk, actually getting back into what this program was originally about, and that's the programs here at RCBC. This is Jay Varga, and again, as you heard in the intro, a national award-winning, but now two-time national award-winning, just like our birds. Right, so feels good, but actually we're live on location and here at the Mount Holly Arts Campus because we're talking things culinary, and excited to get into today's topics and discussions. And joining us today, I have Destiny Maldonado, a current RCBC culinary student. I have Chef Desmond Keefe, Director of Culinary Technology here at RCBC, and Rob Wells, Director of Economic Growth and Developmental and Regional Planning for the Burlington County Bridge Commission. That's a mouthful right there. Hey everybody, how you doing?
Good, fantastic.
Yeah,
doing great.
You talking to the mic. You're good to go. We're talking things culinary here and trying to get this little triangular perspective of what we got going on here at the Arts Campus. It's beautiful. We're actually down here in the, what is this called? The Demonstration Kitchen?
Demonstration Kitchen.
Yeah, I feel like it's almost like Conjunction Junction, going on. No, it's a gorgeous setup. If anybody hasn't been here at the Mount Holly Arts Campus, it's like a TV studio, but with the kitchen. Like you're doing a live TV show. They have, our wonderful AV team with Dan Egan up there doing some stuff, doing some incredible film work, and have all these camera shots, overhead shots, and everything else put up on our YouTube channel. This is an incredible setup, Chef.
Thank you so much. And one of the exciting things about this is that we have been able to bring in some events and film mostly things like open houses for prospective students to come in. We'll do cooking demos for them, and then obviously encourage them to register for
sign up here. Yeah, at rcbc.edu.
Yes,
right?
indeed.
All right. So we'll talk more about this actual program. We'll get everybody's thoughts and everything else. But as always, we have a student first philosophy here on the Program Pod. And Destiny Maldonado, where are you from?
Yeah. So originally I am from Brooklyn, New York, but have moved to Mount Laurel about 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
So yeah.
So how'd you come down here?
So
Jersey.
I know Jersey. It's such a 180, I feel, but definitely family. I had a lot of family and friends out here at first, and actually one of my cousins told me about RCBC and their culinary program, so I looked into it, did some research, and finalized my decision here.
Yeah, so that's usually like my softball questions to everybody get them on here. Why culinary? So your friends told you about it. You did some research, but what was it really about culinary that made you really want to go after this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have been baking cakes for a long time. I started with box cakes and decorating them, and all of my classmates at the time thought that they looked super good and was super yummy. And I just found a passion in actually like making them outside of the box cakes. Sure. And just taking a deep dive into recipes, and my family has been very, very food orientated since before me. I remember going to my grandmother's house almost every week, and she would always have food on the table. And just that comfort of bringing each other together really spoke to me in a way. Mm-hmm. So that's what sparked it.
It's always grandmother's house, too.
Yeah.
It's always grandmother's house. And my wife would be so jealous because she can't bake for anything. And, love her to death. She'll admit it, too. She's, we have a 3-year-old now, so she's working on her baking skills because we're trying to get her to, teach her how to bake and stuff. I'm like, you have to learn how to bake before you can teach Tyler how to bake. But, that's incredible stuff. So how is RCBC, helping you out with that culinary education?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This is a great place, especially for me to start. My overall goal is to get a bachelor's degree, but with RCBC's associate's degree in culinary tech, it kind of brings everything together from baking to hospitality to that serve safe, which is very, very important. Mm-hmm. You need to know safety before you can do anything else. Yeah. So it kind of brings all of those aspects together.
Chef, I want to elaborate on that because I think that's a very underrated statement. That's just talking about the actual, just the safety of the kitchen itself.
I'm so impressed that she brought that up because it is something that we continue to talk about throughout the curriculum. It's not just a class you take once and then say, "Oh no, don't worry about washing your hands anymore," right. Or anything like that. And it is so much more than just washing your hands. But it is, and not only that, but they actually end up having to take a Serve Safe exam to become certified as a food manager, actually. hospitality. And so those are all very important aspects of that minor aspect, but major aspect of the program.
I mean, that's the first thing kind of people, when they go into a restaurant, you kind of inspect the place a little bit, right? And you're like...
Well, if you go to New York City, they all have little, they have their letter grades right on the window. They should do that everywhere, but that's another story.
I didn't even know about that. So here, again, learning some new stuff here on the program pod. So Destiny, what are some of your highlights so far here in the, being culinary?
Oh my gosh, I can go on and on about this.
Sure.
From working under Chef Keefe to all of our competitions and all of our showcases, I've participated in 2 baking showcases so far, which are very, very fun. I have been in both the a la carte and service management classes, which kind of goes hand in hand with our student-run restaurant as a whole. So with the a la carte, which is my favorite, we get to pick out our menu items, design our menu items, and just work together with all of our classmates. That was honestly my favorite thing because personally, I've known all of them for about a semester or 2, but just all coming together and making this menu from all of us was just so amazing.
So when you guys are putting these menus together, though, is it obviously it's theme based? I'm sure probably seasonal as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right? So is Chef giving you kind of carte blanche?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So of course I am the instructor for the a la carte class, and so my heart goes out to Destiny for saying that that's her favorite class because it's my favorite class. I love it. So we're open to the public. It's a restaurant, and so it's something people would say it's one of the best kept secrets in Burlington County because everybody's like, oh, you have a restaurant there? I didn't know that. Of course, some people say, did you have a culinary program there? I didn't know that, but that's another story.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, the process is I tell the students, okay, here's the theme. All right. Submit 4 recipes from each one of you, and then I'll go through that, and then usually 2 from each of the students will end up becoming on the actual menu, and then we work together, put the requisition together, and then descriptions, etc., all that stuff like that, and that'll run 3 to 4 weeks, and then we change for another menu.
Yep.
And how that goes.
I know because Becky sends me for the website, and we're constantly updating that menu, and you guys are turning it over and stuff too, which is some great stuff. So Chef, since I'm talking to you right now, again, you're our director of culinary technology. That's what I had at least on the website and everything else. You introduced yourself a little bit longer title. You want to elaborate exactly what you do here overall at the program?
Well, sure. So again, I am the director of culinary and hospitality.
Hospitality is what it was.
We have a hospitality program here. We have 2 degrees and 2 certificates. In both. And then within the culinary program, you can major in culinary arts or baking and pastry. And then we also have a certificate in culinary arts and baking and pastry, so we can really dive deep and get the depth of knowledge that the student is interested in. And of course, a lot of students are trying to figure out, should I get a degree, should I get a certificate?
Sure.
The beauty is that it is seamless, so if you decide on a certificate and then want to continue on to get your degree later, that's nothing. No problem doing that.
Right.
And it also makes it so that it's much easier to transfer into a 4-year school, so that's why we encourage that. Hospitality, both our culinary and hospitality students take the service management class, so they all learn to wait on table. They all learn to do the intro to culinary class. So there's some collaboration when it comes to that, which I like a lot.
Yeah.
Some overlap so that, they all know each other. And so those are really important aspects of the program.
Yep. Well, I wish, I joked about this because I used to be in the service industry for a long time, working in pizza shops and other restaurants, my college days and my earlier radio career. I always joked in college, I feel like not just culinary people, I feel like all students should take some kind of waiting table or some kind of customer service related thing because the way sometimes people treat others in the restaurants or doing whatever, you're never going to satisfy them and stuff. And it's I don't think you understand what the chef is doing back there or what the server is doing or something else like that. And it's just I feel like if they just took one class, like one of these classes we have here at RCBC, it would just kind of open their mind a little bit, maybe a little more kindness in the world for that part, maybe.
One of the most difficult jobs by far is to serve people, especially, when they're trying to have a good time. You'd be amazed how hard that job is and how difficult it is for people to do that job and to make it so you have a wonderful experience. You're not wrong at all.
Yep.
If everybody should have to do it for at least a little bit of time.
Yep. And that's Rob over there. We're gonna get to him part. We have this.
Sorry.
No, you're good. No, that's what. Again, this is what happens when you don't have video, and we're working towards that here, building out the program pod so you can identify the voices and everything else. Because, Rob and your team did an incredible thing with the culinary students and this harvest dinner from the farm to table, which I want to talk about in just a second. But the other side, obviously, we're talking about, you're talking about some of the programs there, but one of your other chefs just came in, Chef Desmond, and he was not just now. He came in earlier.
You're looking over my shoulder.
No, he's like, make sure you talk about me. No, he was talking about this other tech because his wife went to a convention, and I wanted, culinary technology, and it's like, where does the technology part come into the kitchen aspect or the cooking? Because he was talking about how there's this new tech of there's no more heat lamps kind of coming on, and it's like these not lasers, but I don't know, he was describing it. That's why I probably should have him over here talking about it because, like Michael Scott in the office, like explain to me like I'm 5, right? Just how does it cook so fast without like the heat lamps and stuff? But are we using tech here in these courses and in the kitchen?
All right, so we have combination ovens, known as combi ovens, and so those that have the steam injection technology in those. So that's one of the things that students learn how to work with when it comes to that. And we are fortunate to have some great grants coming through the Perkins Association, and I have some capital funds as well. So we are incrementally adding more technology as we go forward to make sure that students are seeing some of the stuff that they're going to get out there in the industry and use. And I've been fortunate enough to get out and do some research on some different aspects. There's some really cool ventless technology out there now. So, you can have a stove and not have an exhaust hood, which means that, you can open a kitchen in a place that isn't a kitchen, so these are things and that's the whole entrepreneurship thing.
Yeah, right.
Students are like, most of the time when you're thinking about opening your own business, they're thinking, like food truck or something like that, because that's the starting point. And so, now you might be able to do that. I had a chef friend back when I was in New Hampshire, and he opened a noodle shop, and all of it was what we call induction technology, and so that's just the same idea. There's no gas; it's just an electric burner, but it instant on kind of a thing, very safe. Didn't have to have any hoods, and so I mean, I've seen so many different kinds of restaurants.
Yeah.
I had one friend who he did nothing but crock pots. So he cooked everything the night before.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, when I was, back then when I was kind of like bouncing around radio gigs and I was looking into food truck stuff with my buddy because I had a passion. Again, I'm kind of like a foodie, but I think it's more about, you guys can relate, it's more about kind of cooking for others than for myself, right? And seeing them light up and everything else, and you'll put all the hours in only for them to eat it like 15 minutes and be done, and you're cleaning up the mess after that. But it was when I was looking into the food trucks, I didn't realize, you had to have all these permits and you had to have a kitchen to go where and prep and do everything, and then you have to get to the spot and fight with the people that maybe other food truck wars, and because it's not everything you see on TV, right? So, but hopefully this tech kind of comes around making those options a little bit better, because brick and mortar is, you have that competition obviously with the food truck stuff, but. But Rob, let's jump over to you because I'm going to bring into what you were doing here. As again, you are the Director of Economic Development and Regional Planning for the Burlington County Bridge Commission. What exactly is that in your kind of day to day?
Yeah, so our main focus is to bring businesses into Burlington County and to help Burlington County businesses continue to grow. Okay. So from an economic development standpoint, we're constantly kind of recruiting, trying to bring in the next huge employer. But Burlington County is about 90% small business. So it's like, 50 and under. So we run a lot of like small business trainings and classes. We have some loan products. So my job is actually kind of a fun job. I get to, go to different businesses and, host things. Like we're doing a networking event in a couple of weeks where we have it at a business. So that helps showcase the business, but it allows people to come together. It's free, swap cards, that kind of stuff, and, I always joke, especially with small businesses, you find uncanny partnerships, maybe a chef and, a plumber, and the plumber is actually doing plumbing in a couple of different locations that needs food, that kind of stuff. So, we encourage people to talk and to tell people what you do and have your elevator speeches and find out that, just don't look for your next customer, but look for your next partner that may help you get to the next level.
So how did this partnership and the next level happen?
So I've always been a big proponent of RCBC in general.
Yep.
I sit on the business advisory board. I sit on Chef Keefe's advisory board. This is like it's a perfect gem. It's an affordable education for Burlington County residents, folks that want to move down. So how do we do something to showcase that? So, real long story short, agriculture is a huge driver for Burlington County.
Absolutely.
We have 94,000 acres of farmland. But people don't realize that they're employers, they're family and community leaders, they're taxpayers. So we came together. We wanted to do something that showed the agricultural and agritourism, like the Johnson's Farms, those places that people come to pick and, do hay rides, that kind of stuff. That brings people in. And what better way to do that than to bring a partnership with all three, government agencies, the county itself, which is the Ag Center, the college, which is the Culinary Center, and the Economic Development from the Bridge Commission, and host a dinner that we can use some of the media to, showcase those farms, showcase the students, and really put on a really good event that just shows, hey, this is what we're all about. So all of the food was either a Burlington County farm, or actually the majority of food was either a Burlington County farm or locally sourced, or a farm that attends our award-winning Burlington, farmers market. So, and we really challenged Chef with that because it wasn't easy, and his students to come up with a menu that said, "Hey, this is everything Burlington County," and then we used the advertising for this to put out a lot of really fun facts and some things about our farm preservation and that kind of stuff, and then here we are.
Yeah, and this is where some of the Jersey comes out of me, because a lot of people, when they say like, "Oh, you're from Jersey," and it's right now, I always think like, no, North Jersey, Brooklyn area, going up there, up that way.
Refineries.
Yeah, right. But when you get to South Jersey here in Burlington County, and we have the Jersey Shore and all that stuff, but like you said, all that farmland. I grew up in Tabernacle, so I'm used to it, right, and all that stuff. So it warms my heart to see like this type of stuff happening. Obviously, teaming up with the students and letting them kind of showcase their skills, network, and everything else. But Chef, I'm looking at this menu here, and this was the farm to table event we just kind of recently had, the Harvest Dinner. Did you want to talk? What was the thought process in putting together like your apps and your entrees and dessert and everything that you wanted to just display and put on showcase here for this event?
Sure. And before I mention that, I did want to point out that I'm also a Jersey guy. I was born in Bridgeton, New Jersey.
Oh, they're in Georgia.
It's a little known fact that I moved when I was 4 years old.
Okay.
But I was born here, and so now it's kind of full cycle being back here.
Well, welcome home again.
Jersey.
I didn't know that. I knew you came up from the South, and
Every time he does a show, he's from a different place. Last week I heard he was from Virginia.
What is he not telling us?
I mean, obviously, coming up on the fall, I really wanted to focus on the squash, and so that's where the butternut squash soup came in, which is just something that I really love, because it's got the curry in there. It's vegan. I wanted to make sure that we had a vegan option for our guests too, because that's so important.
Yes.
And so everybody got the soup, so there was no one's going to be able to complain because it's gluten-free and vegan and all that thing like that. Very, very important. And again, tried to make sure I continued with that theme to allow our folks that are vegan to be able to select an entrees. That's where the dumplings came in. Some of you may or may not know, I do have a passion for potatoes, and so I had to sneak some
I think I knew that.
I had to sneak some potatoes in there somewhere, so that was the dumpling filling for that. And then moussaka, again, has more potatoes, but it is beef and eggplant, and so it's just a rich dish, which incorporates a lot of vegetables, so we were very fortunate to be able to get the eggplant from one of our local farmers from the Burlington County Farmers Market. And then finally the chicken had a lot of beans and greens, as it says right on there, and the greens were the kale. Again, one of my favorite vegetables, leafy vegetables. I find it because it holds up so well.
Yes.
When it comes to that, and it had a lot of flavor. It had fennel, onions, garlic, crushed red pepper, and a lot of stuff. And they were all a big hit.
Yeah.
And then I guess I could since we'll continue with the apples fall once again.
Yep.
So there we go with that dessert, and I found a way to sneak some sweet potatoes in one more time with that dessert, ice cream, which was just phenomenal, I have to say.
See, I'm not the biggest sweet potato person. I think it's a little on the sweet side, but I'm sure the way you made it with this applesauce cake and everything else, that it would kind of...
The sweet potato ice cream was off the charts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually lactose intolerant, and I still tried it because it was amazing. Paid for it, but it was amazing.
Yeah. It's I mean, it looks delicious and everything else. Now, is this going to be... This is the first event, right? Or first time you ever did it?
First one ever.
Okay. And was this going... We're looking to do this annually?
We were just talking about that. I think that's something that's going to happen again, yes.
That looks great. Yeah, because I mean, like you said, it's not just the food and everything else and the networking, but it's just making awareness, because I'm reading all these stats that you just kind of pointed out and everything else, that over 350 preserved farms. It's just, there's great information in here, and then just getting the students to kind of showcase their skills, and then, getting to see the reaction of people eating and everything else too.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't say that this whole event, all the proceeds went to one of our nonprofits that's also located in Burlington County. It's Farmers Against Hunger. And what Farmers Against Hunger does is they fight against food waste and food insecurity. So what people don't realize is farmers don't use all of their crop. So Farmers Against Hunger puts together an entire group. People donate their time to go out and glean, which is actually picking. So they pick in the farms, pick apples, pick that kind of stuff, and then Farmers Against Hunger distributes them to hundreds of different food kitchens, small and large, and food pantries and stuff all around the county and all around the state, to make sure that healthy options get to people who are in need. So, a lot of times those food kitchens, it's, boxed and processed and that kind of stuff.
Sure.
So and the farmers donated happily. They actually donate their leftover crop because, it kind of hurts them to see it go to waste.
Sure.
So Farmers Against Hunger, all the money went to that to help them continue to do this, to make sure that, we have really good, healthy options for people that are in need.
Now this is what I love. When I used to own a brewery, we kind of teamed up with those type of farms too, because I hated you can't throw the grain, spent grains for making the beer, right? Dumping the spent grains out and stuff. Plus the smell and everything else of that. But I call up a local farm. Now I'm feeding the animals, and then it's just kind of like the whole full circle, right? So to see stuff like that, 100%, donations or proceeds going to that is amazing work, Rob.
Thank you.
I just wanted to add also that how proud I am of my students. I mean, it was a combination of sophomores and freshmen. So some of these students actually were only 3 weeks in to their culinary program, and they just rose to the calling, did an amazing job. Destiny here was a team leader for that.
Of course she was. Yeah.
She showed those leadership skills. So, I'm super proud of all of them. And
So how many plates were there, or how many people were there?
So we had just about 70 attendees.
Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah, it really was. It was a plated meal. Everything was biodegradable and went to the compost. We used the bamboo, plates and all that kind of stuff.
Interesting.
But
Nice.
the culinary team was absolutely amazing. I mean, you would
they
never
got a great leader over there.
Yeah, you would never know that they were first or second year students. They were attentive. They actually interacted well with the guests. Obviously we had a lot of guests from all over the place and had lots of questions. And everybody's they were personable and nice and the food was amazing. So yes, that my hands off to the to the student sessions for sure.
Well, I really hope you guys get to do it again and make this kind of like an annual tradition. I don't see why it wouldn't, but there's always some factors out there, and well, because you're also dealing with crops and everything else too. Weather plays a big part in making sure that this stuff is growing right, and if we're going through droughts and everything else too. So, but I think it's excellent what you started, and I think the vision's there, and then teaming up here at RCBC and the culinary students and chef, it's just everyone's doing some amazing work. But we're going to be wrapping up shortly, except I want to have a little bit of kind of an open group discussion. And then I said, I always have my little bit here because I am a radio guy through and through, and bring back my YSP days. And as I was talking to Rob off the mic, as Tom Gagliardi, a good friend of his one good friends of mine. So it's kind of like we're all connected here, and I keep my radio vibes going here. But the favorite meal to cook for others. I know your Destiny probably might say cakes, but if there's something, whatever you can think about it, or chef, potatoes probably, right? But what's your kind of go-to, or people, I guess, a popular request or something that you thoroughly, it's what your top of your list to make for others?
You're asking me first?
Sure, whatever.
Okay.
Floor's open.
So you know what was really great actually is so our new dean, Dr. Canado.
Yes.
She actually had an introduction of the division at a meeting, and she said, "Everybody, say your name, your position, and your favorite food." And I just loved that. It was so much fun. And of course, there were 3 people who said potato, so I like them a lot when it comes to that. But you know, I mean, I grew up in Gloucester, Massachusetts, and
Here we go again, somewhere else.
Yeah, that's
He's like, where's Waldo? Yeah.
where I really grew up.
Where in the world is
I don't
Chef
even
Desmond
remember what New Jersey was like because I was 4 years old, originally. But
Yes.
nevertheless, and that's a seaport town, right? So a
Yep.
fishing town, and so seafood is in my blood. I love it so much. We eat an awful lot of seafood at home, and so I encourage that a lot. So, I mean, I could eat salmon just about every single day of the week. It is one of those things I love. Salmon, swordfish, scallops, those are probably the top 3 for me. And I make my own spice blend, of course.
Sure.
And it's
Super spicy?
no, it's actually it's a play on a baharat, which is an Egyptian spice. So it's got a little bit of cinnamon and a little spice to it. So it's that combination there.
Okay.
And I put that on there, pan sear it, and it's just one of my favorite dishes. And then of course, a sweet potato and
Shocker.
maybe some broccoli or asparagus or something like that. And that's a go-to meal for us for every day. I mean, I also do a Feast of 7 Fishes every Christmas, and that's a much more elaborate.
That's
I'm
why I
not
love my
gonna
wife's
bother
family.
to-
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
my wife's
okay.
family does the 7 Fishes.
Good.
So it's amazing stuff.
I feel like we should say available for purchase.
That's another podcast.
Yeah, Destiny, it can be even like your favorite food or prep or both, whatever.
Yeah.
Floor's yours.
So, of course, desserts are my absolute favorite. I love decorating cakes, as I said before. I think that there's something so therapeutic, and getting the opportunity to go out the box is so amazing. Like, I've seen some of my classes' cakes, like when we do like midterms and finals and stuff, and it's just so beautiful because we spend a whole class just decorating. So I love doing that. And like my favorite thing to make is flan. So it's like a custard, and you put it in the oven for like an hour or 2, and it comes out amazing. I remember spending an entire semester perfecting my flan recipe. So
nice.
I can say that it is very good.
And so can I.
Yeah.
and I think it's another, you kind of hit on something too with culinary. I just don't people realize the creative process that goes into the culinary too. It's not just following a recipe and everything else. Like you said, it's thinking outside the box, or taking someone's recipe and then modifying a little bit to your own taste or whatever it is, but or just the simple decorations and stuff, and really making things kind of come to life, and the plate presentation and all this stuff too. There's this whole artistic skill set that goes along with just culinary as well, which is perfect fit being here at the Mount Holly Arts campus. Rob, cooking, eating, what do you got?
So probably favorite food, I'd have to go is probably seafood as well. Like we're
Yes.
obviously Jersey, crabs, kind of down and dirty, mussels, clams, that kind of stuff. To make, I'm actually a barbecue guy. Kind of anything on a grill. I've got a smoker.
Nice.
We've done I've done the whole Thanksgiving thing, except for like the sides. Through a smoker and on a grill, that kind of stuff. So the way I'm built, you can kind of tell it, So, and even like vegetables, like I did asparagus last night on the grill. So I'm kind of that guy, and it serves me well.
Yeah, grilling. So good. You gotta have the patience with, they say, when you're doing the smoker and stuff, because we go to the Poconos. My cousin has one of the pellet ones that will start like 16 hours. So sometimes we're up at we're up from the night before, still like 2 a.m, and then firing it away and then just checking on it and stuff too. But when it's
if you do
ready.
Thanksgiving, you get to say you're gonna have to be outside the whole time with a beer and have to drag a TV out. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, with that
when
football.
there's like 35 people in the house, you're outside watching the turkey and the ham. You can't beat it.
Yeah. All right. Radio bit before we go, and then we'll kind of wrap things up. We try to, we have a nice little general conversation and stuff, and I think we're touching on everything else, but it wouldn't be the program pod without my stupid, cheesy dad jokes, because again, when I started this a couple of years ago, my wife was pregnant at the time, and I was looking to, put a little of a radio bit into it, because, we're talking education at times, and me having like that, I'm not going to say shock jock radio and stuff, but we're having like these bits and everything else. So I have these dad jokes based on actual culinary, or, the topic at hand. So with this dad joke here, this awesome work, is what do you call a fake noodle? Crickets.
Yep.
Yeah. An impasta.
Hey.
The worse, the better. Yeah, I think I have one right here, right? No, it's not it. That one. Yeah, there we go. A little rim shot, right?
Yeah.
Too. You should probably might be able to pick up on this one then. So why did the pie go to the dentist? To get a filling. Yeah, I'm losing them, everybody. Losing them. All right, we'll try one more before we wrap things up here. But what is a scarecrow's favorite fruit?
Yeah, crickets.
Strawberry?
Yeah, I know. A strawberry.
Yeah.
I said it. I did. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, well done.
Thank you.
We
The
got it.
only dad person in the group, like pulls it off.
Yeah, I love it. So I got to work on my jokes for my daughter and everything else because she's getting to that point. And but yeah, I like to have some fun and hope everyone else had a great time. Before I do wrap things up, anything anyone else wants to plug in particular, you can talk about the program, the program pod here, the culinary program, the website. Rob, anything you want to promote?
No, actually, I just want to say that we're kind of an unknown commodity. So the Burlington County Economic Development. If you have a business, if you want to start a business, reach out to us. We have we can help you find a location. We can do site survey. We have demographics. Sometimes people think this is hey, I'll open it up right here because it's cheap. But you might need windshields or rooftops. There's certain things that absolutely have to happen to make sure a business is profitable. So large or small, reach out to us. Let us see what we can do. And if nothing else, we can put you in touch with some of the folks that may have grants available. The EDA, the New Jersey Back. So a lot of times we just help people cut through some of the red tape. We talked about the the hoods and those kind of things. So let us help you be successful, and then ultimately you turn around by employing people and paying taxes and making Burlington County an even better place than it was before you got here.
And the website for that, or they can just Google Burlington County Commission. Burlington County Bridge Commission. And
welcome to the world of crazy government.
Yes,
you can probably find us on the Burlington County page.
Yes.
My website is actually bcbridges.org, but I'm on LinkedIn and all those places. Trust me, if you need to find us, well, you just keep Google until you get there. But find us.
I know the government websites.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
It would be like .this, .us, .nj, .47, yeah.
Yeah, Google's our friend.
Yeah.
Either you?
Well, of course, I want to promote the restaurant.
Yes, the Baltic cuisine. Didn't even get to that part.
Baltic cuisine. So rcbc.edu/culinary is how you can make a reservation. And so it's almost like an open table situation. Just click on the button, and then you.
It books fast though. I'm on that website. I know it gets sold out really quick.
People are waking up like midnight the night before.
Yeah, because you get 30 days out. That's the
it's like an Apple iPhone now.
Yeah, because it's also a very intimate restaurant too. So
this is true.
Yes,
we seat about 45 people.
Yeah.
4 seating, 6:15, 6:30, 6:45. And so you're just going to be, and I just want to make sure you remind everyone that it is not BYOB. And so you will not be able to uncork when you arrive. Sorry.
But it's a full meal. It's a full meal though.
3-course meal, $25. You can't go wrong.
No.
We do have a chef table in the kitchen. That's for a little additional fee, and that money goes all to scholarship. So there's an awful lot of great things happening right here in what we like to call the Pleasure Palace.
I'm not touching that one.
Yeah. That's word of school. Remember that.
Yeah. Destiny?
Yeah, so I just wanted to highlight how the school kind of brings all of our students together, especially culinary. I love most of the students, the ones that I've met. I absolutely adore them. They are honestly the best to work with. And I feel like, especially in the Culinary Arts Center, you get to work with a lot of different people, a lot of different creative minds, a lot of different thinking processes. And with that, you can kind of collaborate, and it brings everything together because it literally prepares you for the workforce. It prepares you to work with different people. It prepares you for challenges. Me and Chef Keefe in the a la carte class have had a lot of challenges within that class. So definitely highlighting the students in general, this is a really great place to start.
Well, I'm glad you're having a great experience here at RCBC, and that's what it's all about. Because being a former professor myself, that's really the culmination of everything. You get to see them in the beginning, and you grow as a student and as a person, and you get to the graduation or go on to, who knows, maybe you'll be the next, not Guy Fieri, but something on Food Network or whatever it is. So it's just great to see everyone doing what we're all doing, and we're all contributing here. So great talking to everybody. I hope you had a good time. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, so that's going to do it here for this episode of the Program Pod. And I hope you enjoyed today's show. And again, I want to thank our guest again, Destiny Maldonado, the current RCBC student, bun cake specialist. Yep. And what was the custard thing?
Flung.
The flung.
Yes.
I would have never remembered that. the flung specialist as well. Chef Desmond Keefe, Director of Culinary Technology and Hospitality here at RCBC. And Rob Wells, once again, Director of Economic Growth and Development and Regional Planning of the Burlington County Commission's Bridge Commission. Getting there eventually. Long and winded. But again, Jay Varga here signing off for the Program Pod. If you want to make sure to subscribe to this podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, you can go ahead and do that. We are there talking about all other programs here that we have to offer at RCBC. But of course, you want to learn about anything here, you can about the culinary, rcbc.edu/culinary, or just go to the main website, rcbc.edu, and it runs down all the programs we have to offer here in Burlington County for you. So thanks for listening. Hope you have a good time, and we'll catch you back next month for another edition. All right, everybody, have a good time. See you guys.